Hello everyone, this is Alina with the AstroWellness method, and today I want to talk to you about wellness during the Speedy Gonzalez Gemini season. So, from May 21st to June 20th, right, we have a Gemini season that arrives with movement, curiosity, conversation, and mental expansion. Ruled by Mercury and connected to the air element, Gemini energy encourages us to think, communicate, explore, and connect with the world around us. It is a season that stimulates the mind and awakens a desire for learning, expression, and social interaction. While this energy can feel exciting and inspiring, it can also leave us feeling mentally scattered, overstimulated, anxious, or disconnected from our bodies if we do not create intentional balance. Gemini season invites us to support the nervous system, strengthen the breath, and ground our energy while still embracing all that creativity and curiosity that arises within us. Gemini is associated with the lungs, nervous system, arms, and hands in the medical astrology. And during this season, many people also may notice increased mental activity, racing thoughts, heightened sensitivity, or difficulty slowing down in general. It can even manifest physically like that. So pay attention to your limbs, okay, and how you're breathing in general, especially women, because women have right now in our modern life everything's so tight, all the clothes is so tight, so it's actually very intentional. It gives a shallow breathing and it changes the whole body. Okay, I can talk more about it, but maybe in a different podcast. So now, because Mercury governs communication and the nervous system, right now is an ideal time to pay attention to how stress, information overload, and constant stimulation affect the body and mind. One of the most supportive practices during Gemini season is conscious breath work. Gentle breathing exercises can calm the nervous system, improve your lung capacity, and help regulate emotional energy. This is extremely important. I practice it every single day for years, stillness and breath work, and it has done tremendous difference, like inside and outside. So even a few minutes of this slow breathing each day can create more clarity and steadiness. Spending time outdoors and in nature, especially in the fresh air, can also help to restore balance and reconnect to your body. Remember, the Gemini, it's scattered mind. It's the first sign of separation. It needs to find a balance between the two. So mentally and emotionally, Gemini energy thrives on ideas, conversation, and exploration too. Another thing to note here, Gemini is right across of Sagittarius, which is an expander, right? It has an arrow pointing upward. So this is also one of the goals of Gemini, not to be focused on the small thing, but to expand, to use their intellect for good. Okay, no way. So this season, like I said, it bursts on the inspiration and creativity. It can sometimes overwhelm your body because you feel this mental and body restlessness. So I can also say that if you are of the air signs, and so I'm talking about Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, those signs, Gemini and Aquarius, even more because we have transit Pluto in Aquarius and transit Uranus in Gemini. Well, Gemini has even more planets right now interacting there. So it also includes Sagittarius, obviously, in those counterparts to those signs, which is Leo and Aries, because those are the axes that must to find balance right now, especially right now in this Gemini season. So any kind of meditation, and when I'm talking about meditation, I'm not talking about, guided meditation with some music and that someone is like, imagine like this right now. This is not a meditation. You're not doing things for you guys. This is extremely important to understand that. Meditation is you doing it with yourself, inside me, inside of you. So when you not doing it with yourself, it's completely different. Again, we can talk about it another time, but I just feel it's extremely important to say that this is not a meditation, okay? It is not the proper meditation that was ever intended. You need to do it in stillness. Your temple is inside of you. Your body is your temple. You need to treat it as one, to meditate inside of yourself with your own thoughts. You don't need another person to say something and distract you even more, or some music distracting you even more. Music is a powerful instrument. Again, this is for a different podcast probably. Okay, so let's get back. So journaling also, it's one of the beneficial practices. So if you like to writing, so you're expressing your thoughts, this is extremely important in one way or another. So you can do like writing, or you can do, you can just express your thoughts verbally, right? So depending where you do it, on social media, within your friends, close group of people or something. And another thing, quiet time. Like I said, quiet time with yourself. Practice stillness. Right now, our world is too busy. Everybody's like, no, I cannot be in silence. What, you cannot be in silence? This is the most important. The whole point was not to make anyone in silence, so people will just be scattered all the time, and their mind will always be directed out in their external life, so they cannot achieve no balance, no harmony, no enlightenment, no nothing, whatever is like they're trying to do with so many different ways, doing human design, sound bath, guided meditation, this reading, that reading, tarot. This is like too many things that they're just fractured things, separated things from all one. Again, it's extremely important to get back to yourself. When you do this, you will be actually able to reflect on everything with your own eyes and thoughts, without distracting yourself. Whatever comes in your mind when you're quiet, what are you running from? This is what needs your attention. You remember that fear is empty, and whatever you don't want to do, whatever you're fearful or anxious about, this is exactly where you need to go. This is your biggest gift. This is your power and strength. And if you want to know where is it in your chart, we can do the reading, obviously, and can find these different methods and techniques, obviously, for that. Also, from the sense of esoteric astrology, it's even more important, because through the lens of esoteric astrology, not exoteric, which is just traditional one, that evolves around our external life, which is personality, right? So the esoteric, it's about your soul evolution and who you truly are after you finally got disconnected from, finally got in peace and in harmony with your ego and the personality, once you're not associating yourself anymore there. So esoteric astrology, it's extremely beneficial too, and super powerful. Let's get back to our wellness guide. So why to do all these practices like meditation, journaling, quiet time, reflection? Because they help you organize thoughts, release this mental clutter, and create space for deeper focus and inner calm, which is so extremely important in Gemini season, right? I recommend you even just practice talk slowly, for me, because I'm also Gemini rising, so it's extremely, sometimes challenging, especially when I'm excited about something, to talk slowly. I can get very scattered also, but conscious work, right, and constant work on yourself, this is the way to deal with everything. Another thing I want to mention here, since I don't know if many of you know or don't know, I think I've mentioned. So I'm also a certified international nutritionist and guide, specializing in holistic nutrition and body transformation for many years also. So I practice a lot of herbalism and traditional Chinese medicine, and also Tibetan practices and more. So I want to share with you some thoughts on the nutrition during this Gemini season. So it is extremely important also to pay attention to this. Why? Because again, everything is going to be concentrated in your mind. It's all about intellect. So you see, if you don't consciously make balance and harmony, right? If you are not consciously aware of this, you will be disconnected from your body, and you will be exhausted, drained at some point, and like just literally pass out somewhere. So it's extremely important. Now, because the nervous system requires consistent nourishment here, we must focus on foods that rich in vitamin B, magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants. So leafy greens, nuts, seeds, salmon, avocados, berries, whole grains can help stabilize energy and support cognitive function. So for example, I will tell you, I take my nutrition extremely important. I'm not strict on myself. Contrary to popular belief, I'm actually I allow myself to eat whatever I want whenever I want, but I just know things, it's throughout the years, and I always been the same throughout all my life. You develop this also intuitively. You know yourself, you know your body. I know my chart. I know all my Ayurvedic information, everything, because I practice that. So I know what kind of herbs I need to take, how to deal with certain things when there is imbalance. So why I'm telling you that? So just recently I share with you what I got when I came back from the grocery store, right? So I got kale. I actually got also dandelions, whatever. How do you say that correctly? I do not remember. Leaves. Okay, so they are extremely also powerful and beneficial because they are detoxifying our liver, which is extremely important also. And they have this bitter taste, which is, again, really beneficial for this Sagittarius Gemini kind of axis, which we're experiencing right now. Also, so for these individuals and air signs, bitter greens are really, really good. Now, another thing, what else I got? I got berries. So I got raspberries. Raspberries are extremely beneficial, and get the organic wild ones. They're really, really good. I got also apricots, because apricots also, they're really good for our pineal gland, for our cognitive function. I got some salmon. Obviously only get wild caught and not farm. Nuts and seeds, when you get the nuts and seeds, it's mostly important so they will not be roasted or salted. Okay. And avocados, try to look so it's not a GMO. There are too many right now. Also, just here's on a different note, pay attention to where it's actually those stickers which say peel or appeal. This is the brand that does so much different things for the vegetables and fruits. Not in a good way. You can Google it also. It belongs to Bill Gates, and we know nothing really good comes from there. So when you look, some of them is seedless. I don't need to tell you that anything that's seedless is not real. Okay, so try to get everything with seeds. What else? So whole grains. I do really like buckwheat. I call myself at home a buckwheat queen. Okay, because I can make absolutely everything with buckwheat. It's probably because I'm also of Slavic nation. I'm Russian. So for us, it's like everything. So if you go to my Instagram, you can actually find a lot of different recipes. I share on my, there's a sub channel that I have, it calls Alchemical Wellness. So you can see a lot of different recipes. Or if you go to my Instagram channel, you can probably find it on throughout amongst all the links there. Also the link to that page specifically. Now, another thing, Hydration is equally important, especially right now, obviously, but I would definitely recommend herbal teas such as chamomile, peppermint, lemon balm, or even tulsi to calm the mind while gently refreshing your body. So again, I got actually fresh mint, I got tulsi, I do have lemon balm tea, which is also decaf, so anything that calms your body down and mind. Spiritually, Gemini reminds us that communication is healing when it's authentic and intentional. So pay attention again to who you talk to and how do you feel after. Do you feel drained or do you feel fulfilled? This is a beautiful season in general to reconnect with your good friends, the ones that fulfill you, and engage in meaningful conversations. I had a very important phone call and I was disconnected, so now we can start again from the point that I stopped. So, yeah, engaging in meaningful conversations, starting creative writing projects, or even reading some inspiring books or articles, learning something new, those are all extremely beneficial practices during the Gemini season because in that case, you will be fulfilling the higher expression of and experiencing the higher expression of Gemini, which is intellectual. In its lower manifestation, Gemini can be very gossipy, too suspicious, also, and at the same time just scattered. So it's very important. And so communication becomes a key, right? Expression, communication. And if you're going to pour it into something more productive, like I said, something that's going to fulfill you rather than drain you and bring you again down to the lower centers. If you will do that, you will experience Gemini season completely different. And you will also be able to understand Geminis completely different. This is one of the most misunderstood signs, not only from the other people's perspective, but from their own, okay? Even themselves. So, like I said, one more time, expression becomes a very kind of healing medicine during Gemini season. So, sharing ideas and emotions, even perhaps experience, can create clarity and emotional release. Also, because Gemini rules hands, arms, right? Anything that's created with your hands also can be also beneficial. At the same time, it is important to watch for shadow side of Gemini energy, like restlessness, overthinking, inconsistency, distraction, and nervous exhaustion. All of those can emerge when there is too much stimulation without grounding. Gemini itself here again is not really a problem, so the issue it's when the air, which is our mind, it loses the connection to earth, something grounding and made out of matter, physical, right? So simple grounding practices can make a significant difference here. Spending time in nature, earthing, stretching, mindful movement, reduce screening time, slow living, slow eating, intentional things, creating moment of stillness, silence can all help balance the airy intensity of the season. Gemini season ultimately teaches us also that wellness is mental, emotional, energetic, and relational. This season encourages us to care for the mind as intentionally as we care for the body. The deeper lesson of Gemini season is not just about communication, but the harmony actually between the mind, body, and the spirit. By nourishing your nervous system and honoring the need for both connection and the silence simultaneously, and creating space for this intentional expression, we can move through the Gemini season with greater clarity, vitality, and alignment. Guys, if you're ready to align with your wellness journey more deeply with your unique astrological makeup, I offer personalized astrology reading, which is AstroWellness consultations, as well as your wellness mapping, nutrition coaching, mentorship programs designed to help you thrive through each season and specifically for your birth chart. This is amongst all the other astrological readings that I offer, and many of you already experienced those, and I'm grateful for you guys. So together we can explore how your chart influences your health, energy, relationship, personal growth, so you can create practices that truly support your mind, body, and spirit. Remember, it's the beginning of new time, initiation, rejuvenation, rebirth. So let's re-emerge stronger and more powerful and more authentic to who we actually truly are. And as always, if my work resonates with you, feel free to follow, like, share, and leave a comment with your questions or reflections. Thank you for being here.